So now let's proceed to cyberbullying. So cyberbullying, it is using the internet, cell phones, or other communication technologies to support deliberate, repeated, and hostile behavior that torments, threatens, harasses, humiliates, embarrasses, or otherwise harms another person. So cyberbullying, so ito yung mga karamihang nakikita natin sa Facebook like pambubuli pero in using social medias. So kadalasan ngayon yung mga teenager is ginagawa ito. Like for example, yung mga memes. Minsan hindi natin napapansin na nakakasakit na tayo sa kapwa natin. So, minsan yung mga kabataang nagiging memes or nabubuli in social media. So, nagkakaroon sila ng depressions or traumas. So, next is sexting. So, it is exchanging sexually explicit text messages and revealing pictures, usually by means of a phone. So, this is other types of cyberbullying. So, sometimes women sends their revealing pictures to someone. So, that someone is sharing the pictures with people who were never intended to see or read them. So next is internet terrorism. So using internet to disrupt electronic commerce and communications and to harm computers. So internet terrorism, for example, is may isang tao na nag-hire ng hackers para mag-create ng gulo sa isang company or para magka-virus, for example, yung website ng company. Next is internet misinformation. So using the internet to spread false or misleading information. So ito yung tinatawag nating fake news. So for example, kapag gumagamit tayo ng social medias or other platforms like for example in Facebook, kapag may nakita tayo sa isang page na kaaya-aya yung headlines kahit na hindi pa natin nababasa yung buong article is sinishare na agad natin ito. So, beware lang na dapat basahin mo natin ng buo yung article bago natin i-share para ma-aware or ma-spread yung tamang informations. Next is internet auction fraud. So using an internet auction site to defraud another person. Example is merong magpartner, si seller and yung kanyang assistant. So, si seller is gumagamit ng fake identity and then kapag may bidding time na and magbibid si seller ng highest price. And then, if siya yung nanalo sa bidding na yon, ang gagawin niya is ika-cancel niya yung bid niya para manalo yung partner niya which is mas lowest yung bid kesa sa kanya. So next is internet pump and dump fraud. So using the internet to pump up the price of a stock and then selling it. So merong three things yung internet pump and dump fraud. So first is they buy significant number of shares in small low price. So may isang tao na bumibili ng share sa company na lowest yung price. And then second is they use spam emails, text, tweets, and internet postings to disseminate overly optimistic or false information about the company. So, para magkaroon ng buying frenzy that drives up the stock price. So, third is they sell their shares to unsuspecting investors at inflated prices and pocket a handsome profit. So, click fraud. So, manipulating click numbers to inflate advertising bills. Next is web cramming. So, is offering a free website for a month, developing a worthless website, to charging phone bill of the people who accept the offer for months, whether they want to continue using the website or not. So, ang web cramming is nasa top 10 of online scams for the past few years siya. So, so may mga law enforcer na na-crackdown na nila yung web cramming. Pero hindi pa din nagiging successful or hindi pa nila nahuhuli kung sino yung mastermind nito. So next is software privacy. So is the unauthorized copying or distribution of copyrighted software. There are three frequent forms of software privacy include. So the first is selling a computer with preloaded illegal software. Second is installing a single license copy on multiple machines. Third is loading softwares on one network server at allowing unrestricted access to it in violation of the software license agreement. Next is social engineering. So, social engineering refers to techniques or psychological tricks used to get people to comply with the perpetrator's wishes in order to gain physical or logical access to a building, computer, server, or network, usually to get the information needed to access a system and obtain confidential data. Example ng social engineering is um, yung scammer is nagbebenta siya ng gold. Pero peke yung gold. And then may customer siya na gustong bilhin yung gold na yon kasi akala niya totoo. So, gagawin ni seller is makikipag-communicate siya and then i-deceive niya yung customer niya and sasabihin niya na totoong gold yung binibenta niya. So, yung customer is maniniwala kasi mayroong pinakita yung seller na totoo talaga yung gold na yon and then bibilhin niya yon. And then in the end is na-scam lang pala siya. So next is part 2. So control and audit of accounting information system. So Cisco reported fraudsters to take advantage of the following 7 human traits in order to entice a person to reveal information or take a specific action. So the first one is the compassion. So the desire to help others who present themselves as really needing your help. So merong mga tao especially in social media na nanghihingi ng pity sa ibang tao na may kaya. May ibang tao naman na sinasamantala nila yung mga sakit nila or yung kahirapan nila para makahingi ng tulong sa iba kahit na hindi naman totoo. So next is the greed. People are more likely to cooperate if they get something free or think they are getting a once in a lifetime deal. May mga tao naman na tutulong lang dahil may kapalit. Like for example, yung mga ibang vloggers sa lansangan ng mga bata or yung mga matatandang mahihirap para lang makagain sila ng viewers dahil nga nakatulong sila sa mahihirap. So third is sex appeal. So people are more likely to cooperate with someone who is flirtatious or viewed as hot. So may mga tao naman na ginagamit yung kapugian or kagandahan nila sa pang-scam. Fourth one is slut. So few people want to do things the hard way, waste time or something unpleasant. So next is the fifth one is trust. People are more likely to cooperate with someone who gain their trust. So may ibang seller naman na kinukuha mo na yung trust ng customer nila para bumili sa kanila. So the sixth is urgency. So a sense of urgency or immediate need that must be met leads people to be more cooperative and accommodating. So the seven is vanity. So people are more likely to cooperate if you appeal to their vanity by telling them they are going to be more popular or successful. So next is establishing the following policies and procedure and training people to follow them can help minimize social engineering. So the first one is never let people follow you into a restricted building. So number 2, never log in for someone else on a computer, especially if you have administrative access. Third, never give sensitive information over the phone through email. So dapat mo munang alamin kung legit ba yung mga sinesendan mo ng mga information mo. So number 4 is never share passwords or user IDs. So number 5, be cautious of anyone you do not know who is trying to gain access through you. So the remainder of this section discusses various social engineering issues and techniques. So identity theft. So, assuming someone's identity, usually for economic gain, by illegally obtaining and using confidential information. So, identity theft. Ito yung mga tao na gumagamit ng identity mo and ginagamit nila yon sa mga masasama. Um, kapag may nag-text sa'yo ng scam, kukunin yung mga name, address, age, birthday, or mga ganun mo, and then pag binigay mo yon, may possibility na yung sinendan mo na yon is gamitin yung mga identity na binigay mo sa kanila para mangloko ng ibang tao. So, next is pretexting. So, using an invented scenario or the pretext to increase the likelihood that a victim will divulge information or to do something. So, yung pretexting is just a simple lie. So, it usually involves creating legitimacy in the target's mind that makes impersonation possible. So, next is posing. So, creating a seemingly legitimate business of often selling new and exciting products, collecting personal information while making a sale and never delivering their product. Example nito is yung mga nagbebenta ng mga products. Ibang company or may mga ibang tao na gumagawa ng mga sale or mga nagiging creative sila sa product nila para dumami yung mga mag-order sa kanila. And then, syempre, yung mga mag-order sa kanila is ibibigay yung information but hindi nila yon i-deliver sa sinend nila na address. Instead, yung mga information na sinend ng mga customer is gagamitin nila yon para mangloko ng tao. So, next is phishing. So, sending an electronic message pretending to be a legitimate company, usually a financial institution, and requesting information or verification of information and often warning of some negative consequences. Phishing is ito yung mga scammers na ibibigay. So, phishing, ito yung mga scammers na ginagaya yung ibang company. Like, for example, ite-text or ite-chat or i-email ka nila na nanalo ka ng pera and then, sasabihin nila na i-send mo yung bank account and yung PIN number mo. So, ikaw naman kasi nag-expect ka na nanalo ka, so isi-send mo yun. And then, hindi mo namamalayan is nakukuha na pala yung pera mo sa bangko. Next is voice phishing or vishing. So, like a phishing except that the victim enters confidential data by phone. Voice phishing is like phishing, pero tumatawag naman ito. Ginagamit nila yung mga voice nila and yung mga caller ID. So, next is carding. So, refers to activities performed on stolen credit cards, including making a small online purchase to determine whether the card is still valid and buying and selling stolen credit card numbers. So, yung mga ibang scammer is nagnanakaw sila ng mga credit cards. So, itatry nila yon gamitin sa online selling or bibili sila ng mga products and itatry nila kung gumagana ba yung credit card na yon. Next is farming. So, is redirecting website traffic to a spoof website. So, example ng farming is mamimigay ka ng flyers. So, ikaw na scammer, gagamitin mo yung pangalan ng company na naghahanap ng empleyado. Pero, instead na number nila yung ilalagay mo doon sa flyers, is yung number mo ang ilalagay mo doon. Instead na tatawagan ng mga job applicants yung company na yon, ikaw yung matatawagan nila. And then, yung mga information nila is may possibility na ikaw yung makakatanggap. And then, yung mga information na yon, yung mga information ng mga job applicants is pwede mo yung gamitin para mang-scam ng ibang tao. Next is Evil Twin. So, is a wireless network with the same name called Service Set Identifier or SSID as a legitimate wireless access point. Mga hacker is gagamitin nila yung wireless signal that is stronger than the legitimate signal or disrupts or disable the legitimate access point by disconnecting it. So next is the typo squatting or URI or hijacking. So setting up similarly named websites that users making typographical errors when entering a website name are sent to an invalid site. For example is, itatype mo yung Google, pero double G siya. Instead sa Google na double O. So, pwede kang i-lead noon sa mga cyber squatters site na pwede kang i-trick na yun yung hinahanap mo na website. So next is the QR or the quick response. So QR code is a two-dimensional matrix hardcore that when scanned by a smartphone connects users to a website. So like for example, sa mga ibang cellphones ngayon, pag kumokonek ka sa Wi-Fi is may QR code na. So kung gusto mong kumonek sa bahay ng classmates, friends mo, is pwede nilang gamitin yung QR code na yon kung may QR code ka din. So next is QR barcode replacements. So to fool people into going to an unintended site such as a spoof website or an adult site that infects their phones with malware. So yung malicious yung QR barcode replacement is like malicious replacement QR code na akala mo is valid codes, making it virtually impossible to tell they are fake until they are scanned. So next is tab napping. So secretly changing an already penned browser tab. So example naman nito is kapag may taong nag-send sa'yo ng link or any files, and then kapag kinlik mo yon, pwedeng magkaroon ng virus yung phones or laptops or any gadgets na ginamit mo sa pagkiklik nun. So next is scavenging or dumpster diving. So searching documents and records to gain access to confidential information. So may mga identity thieves na pumupunta sa mga dump sites para maghanap ng mga informations. Like yung mga sinusulat natin sa papel ng mga informations natin. Or kapag nagpapaload tayo, yung number natin is nilalagay natin sa papel and then sinusulat natin to and then tinatapon natin ito. May possibility na yung mga identity thieves is makita yon and then pwede nila yung gamitin para mang-scam ng mga tao. Next is shoulder surfing. So its name suggests perpetrators look over a person's shoulders in a public place to get information such as ATM pin, numbers, or users' IDs and passwords. So the next is Lebanese looping. So perpetrator inserts a sleeve into an ATM that prevents the ATM from ejecting the card. For example, ito is so kung nasa isa kang bangko and then na-trap yung ATM card mo sa machine and then may lumapit sa'yo na magpe-pretend na tutulong sa'yo. But instead na tutulungan ka is ititrick ka nila para pindutin mo yung pin mo ulit doon. And then, kapag nag-give up ka na, may possibility na pwede nilang kunin yung laman ng ATM account mo. So, next is skimming. So, is a double swiping a credit card in a legitimate terminal or covertly wiping a credit card in a small, hidden, handled card reader that records credit card data for later use. So, yung mga commonly committed nito is yung mga retail outlets such as restaurants and carried out by employees with a legitimate reason to process the victim's cards. So next is chipping. So posing as a service engineer and planting small chip that records transaction data in a legitimate credit card reader. So the last one is eavesdropping. So listening to private communications or tapping into data transmission. So eavesdropping is like, for example, nasa public places ka and then may katabi ka. May possibility yung mga conversations mo is mabasa niya and then yung mga information na nakikita niya doon is pwede niya yung magamit sa kasamaan.
Hello, good day everyone. For today, I'm going to report the part of computer fraud for Group 1. Malware is any software that is used to do harm. Malware is a constant and growing concern as well as an expensive one. Malware is the collective name for a number of malicious software variants, including viruses, ransomware, and spyware, since the world has been under attack from the hundreds of thousands of different malware variants, all with the intent of causing the most disruption and damage as possible. Most malware is the result of installation or injection by a remote attacker. It is spread using several approaches, including shared access to file, email attachments, and remote access vulnerabilities. Spyware is a software that monitors and collects personal information about users and sends it into someone else. The information is gathered by logging keystrokes, monitoring websites visited, and scanning documents on the computer's hard drive. Spyware can also hijack a browser, replacing a computer's homepage with a page the spyware creators want you to visit. The online underground fraud community. Malware writers create a new viruses, spyware, and Trojan horses that are used to infect computers. Malware owners buy the malware so the user can receive updates that keep the malware from being detected. Botnet owners control an army of malware-infected zombie computers. Malware owners hire the botnet owners to send millions of spam emails or to initiate hundreds of thousands of Trojan attacks to capture data that they can sell. Identify the fraudster. It buys the malware captured information and identities. A complete identity, for example, name, address, ID, credit card numbers, and bank account details. Drop services. Employ drops or criminal fences or unsuspecting individuals to sell the goods online or to people or stores looking for cheap goods. The guarantors guarantee that the various people who deal with each other make the agreed upon exchanges. For example, they make sure that an identity intermediary is paid their cut for of the sale of any goods, even if individual drops don't pay up. Adware is a spyware that can pop banner ads on a monitor, collect information about the user's web surfing and spending habits, and forward it to the adware creator. Adware companies charge for each computer showing its ads. They increase the number of computers with adware by paying shareware developers to bundle the adware with their software. Torpedo software developed to destroy competing malware, resulting in malware warfare between competing developers. Scareware is a software that is often malicious, is of little or no benefit, and is sold using scare tactics. The most common scare tactics is a dire warning that a computer is infected with a virus, spyware, or other some catastrophic problem. Ransomware often comes in a form of fake antivirus software. When activated, well-written ransomware locks you out of all your programs and data by encrypting them. That means you can't run your installed security programs, and if it disable your USB port and DVD drives, you can't load new security programs to combat it. Keylogger, software that records computer activity such as user keystrokes, emails sent and received, websites visited, and chat session participation. A Trojan horse is a set of malicious computer instructions in an authorized and otherwise properly functional program. In one study, Trojans were the malware of choice as they were used in over 66% of all infections. Unlike viruses and worms, the code does not try to replicate itself. A trapdoor or hackdoor is a set of computer instructions that allows a user to bypass the system's normal control. Programmers create trapdoors so they can modify programs during systems develop and then remove them before the system is put into operation during systems development and then remove them before the system put into operation. Packet sniffers. It capture data from information packets as they travel over networks. Captured data are examined to find confidential or proprietary information. Steganography is writing hidden messages in such a way that no one, apart from the sender and intended recipient, suspects their existence. It's also used by terrorists as an effective way for a spy to transmit information and receive orders. Steganography programs. It hides data files inside a host file, such as large image or sound file. Rootkit. It conceals processes, files, network connections, memory, addresses, systems, utility programs, and system data from the operating system and other programs.
So good afternoon, everyone. This time I'm going to discuss about the super dropping. So super dropping is the unauthorized use of special system programs to bypass regular system controls and perform illegal acts, all without leaving an audit trail. The technique derives its name from super drop, a software ability to developed by IBM to handle emergencies. So itong super dropping na ito it is an authorized use of special system. So ibig sabihin, this is an special system programs na kung saan ito ay regularly system controls and perform illegal acts. So this is an illegal, no? Illegal po ito siya. So the manager of computer operations at a bank was told to use a super drop program to correct a problem affecting account balances caused by unanticipated problems in changing from one computer system to another. When he discovered he could use the program to make account changes without the usual controls, audit, or documentation, he moved $128,000 into account of several friends because SuperJob program left no evidence of data file charges. He was not detected until a customer complained about the shortage of his account. Ibig sabihin, so ang example dito, yung manager daw ng computer operations at a bank ay sinabihan siya na gumamit siya ng super job, no? To correct the program at saka yung mga problem affecting the account balances caused by unanticipated problems. So, nung na-discover niya na pwede niya palang gamitin itong super job na ito, so ginamit niya ito, no? Kasi itong super job can help him, no? Na hindi ma-detect kung meron man mga changes o um, meron mga changes doon sa mga documents ng isang customer or ng isang clients. Kasi itong super job na ito, ginagamit siya or super job is hindi siya nag-iiwan ng kahit na mga anong evidence sa data file or hindi siya nadi-detect agad ng mga customer unless magko-complain yung customer na nagkaroon ng shortage sa kanilang account. So next, let's proceed to the computer virus. So computer virus is a segment of self-replicating executable code that attacks itself to a file or program. So during its replication phase, the virus is spread to other systems when the infected file or the directories reformat the hard drive's file, change the content of file, or keep users from booting the system or accessing data on the hard drive. So lahat naman tayo familiar sa computer virus. So ito yung virus na pumapasok sa ating mga software or sa ating computer para i-interrupt yung mga files natin na nandun or i-reformat yung mga hard drives file natin, papalitan yung mga content ng file and it keeps us as users to booting our system or mahirapan tayong i-access yung ating data doon sa ating hard drive. So a virus can intercept and change transmission, display descriptive images or messages, or cause image to change color or disappear. So yun yung mga possible kapag merong computer virus. So many viruses automatically send emails, faxes, or text messages within the victim's name as the source. So as the virus spreads, it takes a space, clogs, communications, and hinders system performance. So next, computer virus symptoms include computers that will not start or execute. Okay, so ito yung mga simptomas, no? Kapag yung ating computer is hindi na siya nag-i-start ng maayos at hindi nag-i-execute or functions, ibig sabihin ng ating computer is mayroong virus. So unexpected read or write operations, an inability to save files. So yun, kapag hindi ka nakapag-save ng files, so may virus na rin yun. Long program load. So kapag nag-open tayo ng program, sobrang tagal niya mag-loading, di ba? It costs a lot of time. Abnormally large file sizes. So, slow system operation, incessant pop-ups. Meron nag-pop up na kung ano-ano kahit hindi naman natin siya gin-click. Then, unusual screen activity, error messages, or file names. So, a bad virus attack shut down a bank with 200 servers with 10,000 desktop computers for 4 days. Oh, kalain mo, sobrang laki. 10,000 just for 4 days. So, every day, virus creators send an estimated 1 billion virus-infected email messages. Grabe kadami. Halos araw-araw yun, 1 billion. The creators are getting good at making them look authentic. Kasi tayo naman na napapasahan, hindi natin alam na ito pala yung virus kasi parang tingin natin sa kanila is authentic, no? One recent virus came in an email that appeared to come from Microsoft. The Microsoft logo and the copyright were included in the message window launched by the virus. So kagagawan niyo siya ng virus, no? Through email, nag-appear yung Microsoft together with the logo and the copyright. So kagagawa yun siya ng virus. It's not the Microsoft itself. So it is estimated that viruses and worms cost businesses over 20 billion a year. Oh, grabe rin, no? A computer system can be protected by viruses by the following guidelines. So a computer worm is a self-replicating computer program similar to a virus with some exemptions. Let's see. The first one, a virus is a segment of code hidden or in attached to a host program or executable file. Whereas a worm is standalone program. So yung virus is hidden yan siya or naka-attach to a host program or executable file. Sabihin, hindi makakapasok yung file kung wala kang ipinasok dun sa computer system mo. Whereas yung worm naman is standalone program. That is a kind of program na kung saan, halimbawa, kung kin-download natin itong program, so that's why magkakaroon ng worm doon sa ating program. Number 2, a virus requires a human to do something. Tama. Kasi yung virus, ginagawa naman siya kasi ng tao, hindi yan directly na um, nag-pop up or napupunta na lang bigla nang wala kang ginagawa o walang ginagawa yung tao. The virus itself, hindi siya papasok dun sa ating personal computer kung hindi siya kagagawa ng mga tao. Oh. Whereas a worm does not and actively seeks to send copies of itself to other network devices. So, itong worm, nag-iisa lang ito siya. Hindi siya nagre-replicate or hindi siya nag-mutate. Number 3, worms harm network. Okay. Whereas viruses infect or corrupt files or data on a targeted computer. So, itong worms is nag-harm lang siya ng network while yung viruses naman is nag-corrupt ng mga files, uh, corrupt ng files, ibig sabihin yung mga files hindi natin siya ma-open or hindi natin siya ma-read or data. Nag-corrupt din siya ng data. So here are some practical suggestions for protecting computer from viruses. So una, install reputable and reliable antivirus software that scans for identities and destroy viruses. No? So, dapat mag-install tayo ng mga reliable antivirus software na kung saan gina-scan niya um, yung mga identities and destroyed viruses. Identities, which means yung halimbawa kung meron tayong gustong ipasok doon sa ating computer, so dapat ma-scan yun siya para ma-destroy yung mga viruses. Use only one antivirus program. Gumamit lamang ng isang antivirus kasi mostly sa atin kung maraming ginalagay na antivirus sa kanilang mga computer system ko. So kung maglalagay tayo ng maraming antivirus sa ating computer, multiple programs conflict with each other. So yun yung magiging cost. Then, do not fall for ads touching free antivirus software. Much of it is a fake and contains malware. So hindi mo na make sabihin nakakita tayo ng mga ads is i-click na natin. Meron lang tayong nakitang ads na na free antivirus na i-click natin kasi free kasi lahat naman tayo gusto ng free, di ba? So hindi lahat ng free is safe. 3, do not fall for pop-ups notices that warn of horrible threats and offer a free scan of your computer. So kapag meron nag-pop up sa ating mga notices sa ating computer, huwag tayong agad-agad magpapaniwala na kung kunwari nag-o-offer sila ng mga free, no, to scan our computer, pero hindi naman pala yun siya nag-scan. But ang purpose noon to scan our computer and to inject, no, or mag-iiwan sila ng mga viruses sa ating computer. Then, make sure that the latest version of the antivirus programs are used. So, dapat lagi tayong naka-update sa ating antivirus. Kung ano yung latest, dapat yun ang gamitin natin para mas maprotektahan yung ating computer. Then, scan all incoming email for viruses at the server level well as at user's desktop. If in case may magdating na email, so dapat gina-scan natin yan kasi 'di ba sabi kanina yung viruses mostly sa mga email siya nanggagaling. So i-scan natin yan siya for the safety of our computer. So do not download anything from an email that uses noticeably bad English such as terrible grammar and misspelled words. So kapag na-notice natin itong email na ito, is masyadong bad yung kanyang English, hindi siya masyado understandable. At the same time, yung mga grammar niya is mali-mali, and yung mga spelling niya is mali-mali din. So, wag natin yan sa i-download kasi that is a virus. Second, no, all software should be certified as virus-free before you load it into the system. So, yung mga software na ipapasok natin sa ating system, it should be certified as virus-free. Kasi mali naman natin pinagpasok-pasok na lang tayo ng mga software dito, not knowing na that software is nagdadala pala ng virus na kung saan masisira yung ating mga computer. So deal only with trusted software retailers. So halimbawa dito, kung saan tayo bumibili nitong mga software o nagpapalagay nitong mga software, dapat doon lang tayo nag-stick. Stick to one lang ba? Huwag na maghanap ng iba. Char. Then, some software suppliers are electronic techniques to make tempering evident. Okay. Then check new software suppliers use electronic techniques to make tempering event. So, i-check natin yun sila. Then have two backups of all files. So kapag nag-save tayo ng files, make sure na meron tayong backup or kung pwede, dadalawahin natin yung ating mga files. Just in case na mag-interrupt yung isang files, meron tayong alternatives or pampalit doon. So if you see flash drives or CDs, do not put them in any strange machines. Kapag meron tayong flash drive or yung USB, or yung mga CD, wag natin yan sila ilagay-lagay kung saan-saan lang doon sa mga strange machines. Kasi baka makakuha yun sila ng mga virus at mapunta sa ating laptop once i-insert natin yung flash drive or yung CD sa ating laptop or personal computer. Then let's proceed to the blue snarfing. So blue snarfing is stealing contact list, images, and other using Bluetooth. So using Bluetooth, nakakapag-steal pala ng mga contact list, mga images at iba pa. So a reporter for Time Online accompanied Adam Lowry, a security expert around London scanning for Bluetooth compatible phones. Before a Bluetooth connection can be made, the person contacted must agree to accept the link. So halimbawa, lahat naman tayo familiar sa Bluetooth. So kapag nag-Bluetooth tayo, of course, kailangan pa natin ng approval nung ating sesendan kung i-accept niya ba yung ipapasa natin or hindi. However, Lowry has written software to bypass this control and identified vulnerable handsets at an average rate of 1 per minute. He downloaded entire phone books, calendars, diary contents, and stored pictures. Phone up to 90% meters away were vulnerable. Mhm. Then, next is the blue bagging. It taking control of someone else's phone to make or listen to calls, send or read text messages, connect to the internet, forward the victim's calls, and call numbers that charge fees. These attacks will become more popular as phone are used to pay for items purchased. When the hacker wants something, all he will have to do is blue bag a nearby phone for other devices to recognize it. So, mostly, nangyayari ito sa mga cellphones, no? So, nangyayari ito sa ating mga phones. So, bigla-bigla na lang um, um, merong tatawag na hindi natin kilala, bigla na lang merong dadating na mga orders na hindi naman natin gin-order dahil yung kagagawan ng mga hackers. No? Meron tayo na po-purchase na hindi naman natin gin-purchased. 'Di ba? Merong mga ganyan. Mostly, nangyayari ito dun sa mga gaya nung sa Grab Foods, 'di ba? Kadami-dami good nag-order. Tapos pagdating doon sa venue, sinasabi na hindi daw sila nag-order. Yung pala, iba yung nag-order tapos ginamit lang yung ating phone number o yung ating mga address. So antivirus software for phones helps deal with such problems. Many other devices such as home security system, home appliances, automobiles, and elevators are beginning to be targeted by viruses and worms. Then that's all and thank you.